Hello, we're here today to talk to Ben, who is our in-house expert on the YourCAM portal. Ben's received lots of questions recently from many of you about looking at different views within YourCAM. So looking at your own portfolio, perhaps looking at the portfolio of your partner or your spouse, maybe even looking at portfolio associated with a bare trust or a charity that you are working for or in charge of. We would like Ben to answer some questions about how we can view those different portfolios and exactly what data we can see as we click on the different access levels within the portal. Ben, without further ado, how does this all work? What are we looking at right now? We can see we're viewing as Ben.
Yes, thank you. I'm starting this with our demo account just in terms of what a default view would look like. Obviously,
Right.
this is an account just in my name. There's no data flowing through it. So if you logged in yourself, the first time you log in, all you would be able to see is your own specific account. So I can only see the account in my name. So if I had any other accounts I wish to view, I wouldn't be able to view them. The way we work around this is just in terms of security and making sure that all of our checks in place is by getting clients to sign what is known as a joint access consent form. That is for yourself, and be it a partner or say you looked after siblings accounts and you both agree to share mutual access so that you can view everything in one go. It would then create an environment on our back end of the system where we would link those accounts.
And
So
guys, just sorry, Ben, I'm just going to jump in
yeah,
there and say that is an important admin step for us, isn't it? Because data protection law says that, even if you're married to somebody, unless your account is in joint names, we have to have the express consent of the other party to allow you to view that information. And certainly, for example, Ben, if you wanted to see the account of your brother or something, we would need to know that your brother had said yes before we actually gave you access to seeing his holdings.
exactly that. It's an important step. It also makes
It
sure
protects
that
you as well, right?
exactly that we
Yeah.
need to make sure, just as a general point of contention, that the wishes of our clients are upheld. And if it was a case that you wanted to keep your accounts separate, you didn't want to view each other's accounts, we already have that option in place. So it's important to make sure that all the wishes of clients are adhered to, no matter how they want to spin the portfolio to best suit their needs. So let's say, for example, I have this set up in both an account in my name and my brother's name. Say we were
Mm.
both clients and we agreed and we both signed a joint access consent form. When that is set up, you'll have a drop down cursor here. So when I click on this drop down cursor, you can see there are three options. None of these accounts have any form of data on them. Obviously, this account here has a few documents just to make sure that everything was working. So once I click on that, I would be able to see just the accounts in my brother's name.
Right, so we'd be seeing then just Daniel's net worth and just Daniel's portfolio, Ben. We'd be
Yes.
seeing in the real world exactly what Daniel was holding, just as when we went back into viewing as Ben, we were seeing just what you were holding and just what
Yes,
assets you had. So the two portfolios are totally separate, but you're able to view them both separately.
exactly that. And so you'd have the access to view them on their own. If I wanted to see my own net worth, if I wanted to see my brother's net worth, I would have that split. And I know for a
Right.
lot of clients, it's a case that everything wants to be, you want to view everything under one or in one roof. That's why we have a third option listed as combined. So as you can see here, the best way to exemplify this, I have no recent documents when I am listed as Ben. When I click on combined, you can see here now that the recent documents are listed to include the
Right.
documents held for every account. I will just show you quickly what that means here. Because I've logged in, this will vary. The reason why my documents are held here is just for how we have set up things on the back end of the system. It really depends on who is the first one of client A, client B we click on.
Right.
And so because I set this this relationship link up using my account first, that's why my name is set as the one that is
But that
unlocked.
makes no difference, right, Ben? It's
Absolutely not.
just the order, it might be alphabetical, whatever. It's just the order in which the system's assigned the priority.
Yes, exactly
Right.
that. So if, say, you logged in here and there were documents uploaded just for your partner, you've logged in here on documents, you can't see anything here, you would just need to click this icon here. And as you can see, once I've done that, the drop down menu appears and those documents that are listed in general documents are uploaded. So it's just the case that sometimes while it may look hidden, it's just a quirk of the system. You would just have to click this one drop down menu, and in that drop down menu would be the documents needed for the other client that you have a joint access link with.
Okay. So we can see your views there as a combined portfolio. And what does that mean, Ben, in terms of the asset view we were looking at? Does that mean that we'd see the total amount of a particular holding and the total value of the portfolios across you and Daniel?
Yes. So under combined, it would give you essentially what it says there, a combined view of both of our accounts. So let's say I had an ISA and a GIA, my brother had an ISA, GIA, and a SIP. Under combined views, we'd have two GIAs, two ISAs, and a SIP. They'd all be indicated under the account number and the account name itself. So they would be different. You'd be able to tell whose account was whose based on the fact that they would have names attached to them in line with what would be found on your quarterly valuation reports.
Okay. Well, let me make it a slightly bit more complicated. I don't want to confuse people here, but what about if you or Daniel were the trustees of the trust? What happens there?
So the trusts, in terms of how they are set up on the end of Money Info, we would link them personally into the account itself. So with trusts, I know that they people like to view them as separate from their own personal accounts.
Right.
So how we would set it up is in this drop-down menu. Let's say there was Ben Hopkins Trust 2025 that we had set up and I was a trustee of. You would have a fourth option here that would list that account there.
Right.
And then when you click on that, that would hold the trust assets separately. We
Great. So
could
you would see that discreetly.
Yes, exactly that. We
Yeah.
could combine them together if clients do wish for us to do that. They can just let us know, and we can set up a combined view with the trust accounts as well. But we've found it's a lot more straightforward and it will make things a lot easier for clients keeping the trust separate. So if you are just a trustee, if we kept it under the combined view in your overview, that net worth of the trust would be included. So it
Oh,
may skew
totally.
figures slightly and confused what you would feel your net worth actually would be. So in order to make this as streamlined as possible, we found the best solution was to keep it separate, just on a separate tab in the drop-down menu.
That makes perfect sense, Ben. Before we leave this session, is there anything else which is important for folks to know when they're looking at these portfolio views?
Yeah, so if it is a case that, say, you had a joint GIA account, the full value would be reflected on both accounts. So say me and my brother had a GIA or joint GIA that was £100,000, I would see it as 100 view, he would see it as 100,000 on his view, and when it's on the combined, you would just say 100,000. There's no way for us to split a joint GIA 50-50, so you would see the full value of 100% portfolio regardless of the login that you were on.
Right, and to be fair, my lawyer's brain kicks in here, Ben. That's because both you and Daniel would be entitled to the full 100,000. I know it feels like double counting, but both of you have the right to use the 100,000 separately and together. But a joint account means literally that you're jointly able to use it, and I think that's why it's set up that way.
Yeah, exactly. That was our feelings when we were putting the whole accounts structure together. It's just the case that for some that they may feel like it is split 50-50, but no, it's the
Right.
case that you'll view 100% of the portfolio if it is joined at any point in time, regardless of the viewing that you have set up.
That's really helpful. Thank you for clarifying that. I must say this portfolio view aspect of the portal is really helpful, but it also can be quite confusing. So thanks very much for your time, Ben. We'll be back shortly to address another topic, and please keep your ideas coming. You can email us with any issues that you would like us to cover. Thank you for watching.